Good morning children, welcome to Gurukul VIDYALAYA online classes. So today we are going to discuss about the topic fiber to fabric in the class 7 science subject. So already from this chapter we have discussed in the previous video. So could you recall that knowledge? Just we have discussed about the fiber, how the fibers are obtained. In the class 6 also you discussed about obtaining of fiber cotton from the cotton plants and jute from the jute plant, like that we have discussed. So in the class 7 the processing of wool also we have discussed. So how the wool is obtained from the process of from the sheeps, how the wool is taken, and after that how the woolen sweaters are prepared. These are all things we have discussed in the previous class. Now we are going to discuss here is about silk. Here we are discussing about the fiber silk, the natural fiber silk, how the silk is obtained. So before that we have to discuss that silk fibers are also animal fibers. We can understand that silk fibers are also called as animal fibers. As silkworm spin the silk fibers. Why we are calling like that? Because silkworms spin to the silk fibers. The rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk is called as sericulture. Here you have to understand about sericulture. What is sericulture? The rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk is called as sericulture. So you may find out about the fiber or fabric silk in your home. If you ask your mother or grandmother or your aunt, they will say about silk sarees. You may saw those silk sarees, the sarees which are obtained by using the silk. So before going to discuss about the process of silk, we have to understand about the life history of the silk moth. So we have to understand about the life history of silk moth. So the female silk moth lays eggs. First of all, the female silk moth lays eggs from which hatch larvae called caterpillars. So that we call as caterpillars or silkworms. So these silk, after getting the silkworms, those silkworms will grow in size. They will grow in size, and which after converted as pupa in the next stage. So when the silkworms are growing in size, in the next stage they will convert as a pupa which is covering with the silk fiber. So this pupa is covering with the silk fiber, that we call as the word pupa. This is one of the stage. So this covering is also called as cocoon. What we call? We call it as cocoon. So from the cocoon of the silk fiber we will get the silk yarn. From this we will get the silk yarn. So this silk yarn, after weaving or knitting, we will get the silk fabric. So children, do you understand here? The first process, after the female silk moth laying eggs, they are converted as they are called as caterpillars or silkworms. After silkworms, they will grow in size. In the next stage, they will become as a pupa. We call them as a pupa, which is covered with the silk fiber. So the pupa which is covered with the silk fiber, we call it as a cocoon. So that cocoons are later converted into the silk yarn, and after the processing, that yarn is converted into the fabric. So here we can understand about the caterpillar. So this caterpillar, when it is in the cocoon, in that stage, it secretes the fiber which is made up of some protein which hardens a exposure of air and becomes silk fiber. So do you understand? This caterpillar, when it is in that cocoon, it rotates its head in the form of 8. The number 8 will be there, no? In the form of 8, it will move the head like that. So when it is moving like that, it becomes as a cocoon. It becomes as a cocoon. So inside what it is obtaining? It is obtaining a silk fiber which is a protein which hardens the explosion of the air and becomes a silk fiber. So that becomes as a silk fiber. So this covering is known as a cocoon. So the silk yarn or a silk thread which is obtained from the cocoon of the silk moth. There is a variety of silk moths in our surroundings. So those silk moths, what people will do, they are separating them, they are sorting them into their texture and into the form of their strength, the smoothness, everything it has been done. So one thing we have to understand here, the most common silk moth is called mulberry silk moth. The most common silk moth is called as mulberry silk moth. So children, here these mulberry, why we are calling this as a mulberry silk moth, that we have to discuss. We will discuss in this video. So here just to complete the texture of these silk with that of the artificial silk pieces, just we have to compare them. So natural silk sarees and artificial silk also will be there. So when we comparing them, we can understand that one is the natural, which is obtained from the mulberry silk moth, and another one is the artificial thing. So how the artificial silk is obtained? So we call the artificial silk as a synthetic silk also. We call it as a synthetic fiber. So that synthetic silk thread and the pure silk thread that is obtained from the mulberry silk moth, they both will be combined to get the artificial silk. Why people will do like this? Not only using the natural one is more expensive, and they are preparing this artificial silk fiber. Why? Because it will be used for more duration. That means the durability will be there, and it will be light in weight and in the less cost. So in that purpose, people will use the natural silk and the artificial silk. So now from the cocoon to the silk, just we discuss here, from the cocoon the silk yarn will be obtained. How we will get the silk yarn? So to understand that the rearing of silkworms we have to understand. So already we discussed that a female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time, and these eggs are stored carefully on the strips of the paper or a cloth and sold to silkworm farmers. So the farmers will be there who are doing this work, that means who are engaged in the sericulture. So the laid eggs are kept on the cloth and they given to the silk farmers. These farmers keep these eggs under hygienic conditions and under suitable conditions of temperature also and humidity also. So under these conditions, when they kept these type of eggs from the female silk moth, these eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature for a larva to hatch from the eggs. So when they are kept in the suitable temperature and hygienic conditions and humidity, so these eggs will hatch into the larva. So after this has been done, these larvae, the silkworm or caterpillars or silkworm, they are kept on the mulberry leaves. So in your textbook you will observe one mulberry tree. At the center of that page you will observe one mulberry tree. From the mulberry trees they will cut the leaves of the mulberry. So on the mulberry leaves they will keep these caterpillars, larvae called as caterpillars. So after keeping that, what we will observe? Did you observe, children, in our garden or any place where plants are there, on the leaves small silkworms will eat the leaves. So in the same way, when all these silkworms are kept in a tray, in the tray they are leaving the leaves of the mulberry leaves, and on that when they are placing these silkworm caterpillars or silkworms, then what will happen? They will eat the mulberry leaves and they will improve their size. So when they are eating that mulberry leaves, afterwards what will happen? They are kept into the clean bamboo trays along with freshly chopped mulberry leaves. So when in this way also they will be. So in a big tray they will arrange, or in the bamboo trays they will arrange the mulberry leaves. In that they will place these silkworms, the silkworms will eat more and more, and they spin into the form of cocoons. So already in the previous we discussed that one, how they will move the head in silkworm. While they are moving the head like that in the form of 8, they will secrete the silk fiber called the fiber called that silk. So in the form of like some cocoons they will obtain. So after those cocoons, what they will do, they will develop them into the yarn. So here to understand that the processing of silk we have to understand. A pile of cocoons is used for obtaining silk fiber. Pile of cocoons means cocoon, this type of cocoons, if many are there. If many are there like this, all these cocoons are kept like a pile, and from that we will obtain the silk fiber. So the cocoons are kept under the sun, are boiled, are exposed to steam. Do you understand? When they are boiled, all these cocoons together, if you boil, what will happen? All the cocoons will be boiled, and if they are exposed to the sun or the steam, with the steam also they will get wet and they will be boiled. So the silk fibers then separated out. So after boiling that, they will separate that one. This process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called as reeling the silk. So children, do you understand? This process of taking out threads from the cocoons for use of silk is called as reeling the silk. So here reeling is done in special machines also. Nowadays also people are using one machinery, some industries to take the silk fiber from the cocoons. So whole this process is to be done there to obtain a natural silk fiber. So this is the process of obtaining the natural silk, and that silk is woven as a fabric, and they will weave as a, those silk yarn is weaved as a fabric, and that fabric is used to prepare some clothes, ready-made clothes. They will stitch them as clothes. So here in your textbook, in this chapter, one story also there. Once just we can discuss about that story. So exact time of discovery of silk is perhaps unknown. We don't know at when it is obtained, the discovery of the silk. So according to an old Chinese legend, the Empress Xilang Qi, the Empress name is Xilang Qi, was asked by the Emperor Huang Ti. The emperor name is Huang Ti, to find out the cause of the damage of leaves of mulberry trees. So what happened, once that lady sitting under the mulberry tree, and before sitting she observed one mulberry tree is there in the back of their house, that she is observing that many leaves are missing from the tree. That means the leaves are damaging from the tree. So what happened, they did not understood. So when they try to understand that one, or to understand what is the damage of the mulberry leaves, they are thinking like that. So once she sat under the mulberry tree and drinking one cup of coffee. So when she is drinking like that, from the top of the tree, one ball like thing is fallen into the cup. So then she take it outside and observe that one. So that is nothing but it is a cocoon. So it is a cocoon. So what is happening here? Later they understood that some silkworms are going to the mulberry tree and all the silkworms are eating the mulberry leaves and they are growing inside, and in this process they are happening. So the caterpillar or silkworms, after eating them, they are growing inside. In the next stage they are becoming as a pupa, and they are covering with the silk fiber, that is called a cocoon. So that cocoon, it has been fallen into the cup of tea or coffee what she is drinking. So due to that heat, so what happened, she observed some silk in them. So from then they understood how the silk is obtained from the silkworm. So in the China, what they did, later on some traders and travelers introduced the silk to other countries also. They obtained the silk from that place, and they send them to the other countries, and they make it as a business. So the route they traveled is still called as a silk route. Nowadays still they are calling that route as a silk route. Why? Because in the route they send that silk to the other countries. So do you understand, children, how the silk is obtained from the silk moths? So in this chapter, some what you have learned, some points also there. At the end of the chapter, some keywords are there: cocoon, fleece, reeling, scoring, sericulture, shearing, silk moth, silkworm, sorting. So about all these things we have discussed in these part 1 and part 2 videos. So children, once again you read your textbook, and some important points also there. What we have learned points, all those you read thoroughly, and after giving the CW, you have to complete that question and answers in your CW. Already you may have completed half of the portion of CW, and remaining part also along with this video I will send to you. So you complete the CW. So write neatly, and one more thing is stay safe at home. Don't go outside, and inform your elders to wear mask and maintain the social distance, and washing the hands with the alcohol based sanitizers regularly. You also maintain these things, and follow the instructions given by the government, and from the school also teachers, depending on according to your studies, teachers are giving some instructions. Everyone should follow those instructions, and mainly you have to watch the video what we are uploading into the Gurukul app, and after that from the WhatsApp group you are getting the work, whether it is a homework or CW class work. You have to complete that one, and be thorough in your studies, and study well. All the best for you. Thank you.